Hej och välkomna till Aktiedagen i Stockholm med aktiespararna den 14 mars. Jag heter Gunnar Vrede och ska leda en liten frågestund efter den här bolagspresentationen som kommer nu. Ni kan också ställa frågor såklart via chatten eller sms. Och det bolag som ska presentera sig nu heter Oasmia och det är vd Francois Martelet, and I think you will present this in English.
Yes, that's right,
Yes, and you're very welcome.
Thank you and good morning to you, yes. Always a pleasure to be here with you to update you on what we are doing at Oasmia. So this is the forward-looking statement that we will not ask you to read, obviously. So fundamentally, we are a Swedish oncology-focused specialty pharma company. We have the luxury to have one product approved in oncology, and this is called Apelia. What is Apelia? Apelia is super Taxol. You probably have heard about Taxol a long time ago, and this is a better formulation than Taxol that will be launched in Europe during the course of the coming months. At the same time, we have also an emerging oncology portfolio that is focused on hard-to-treat and late-stage cancer. We have a very clear strategy. We call that string of pearls. That means adding compounds or product to our pipeline in order to generate a sustainable mass for our company. And the first compound that we have been able to add to our pipeline is called Catrixil, and I will come back to that. Right, so fundamentally we have two lines of businesses. On one side we have an R&D line, and on the other side we have a commercial line. On the research and development line, we have two compounds, Contrexil, docetaxel micellar, that I will come back to you and detail a little bit later on. On the commercial side, as I said earlier, we are fortunate to have been able to launch Apelia in Europe through our partner this year. At the same time, we have a technology platform that we called XR17, XR18, and we have animal health assets as well that are open for partnering or further development. Right, so what has been done over the last few months and years, basically, since I joined the company about 2 years ago? Let's focus on the last pieces, last achievements. So Contrexil, so as I said, the first compound to be added onto our portfolio was added last year. We have initiated a collaboration with Karolinska Institute for our platform because we believe it's extremely important to continue upgrading our platform. At the same time, in June of last year, we received positive Contrexil data. That means that the phase 1b data have been confirmed. That means that we were able to pick the right kind of molecule from a small company based in Australia called Akelia Therapeutics. At the same time, docetaxel micellar trial has been initiated, phase 1b ongoing. End of last year, we negotiated an agreement for the commercialization of Apelia in Russia. That is obviously on hold as we speak. At the same time, very late last year, we've been able to sort out all our liabilities that were an inheritance of the past, and that's also an important piece. Now, February of this year, we've been able to show and to release a number of progress with regard to our platform. We've been embarking on the right issue. We'll come back to that as well. We have a new identity. And as I said earlier, the critical moment is happening right now as Inceptua is in final preparation in order to launch Apelia in Europe. So after all this turnaround, at Oasmia, we thought that it would be the best moment to change the name of the company in order to show and to mark a new era for the company, and this is Vivesto. Vivesto means, Viv means life in Spanish, and esto this, so this is life. So, and I think that this marked really the a new phase for the company, and you know, what can we choose as a better word than this is life, basically. And we want to emphasize in this name that we are focusing not only on quality of life, but also on survival. Survival is absolutely key for cancer patients. Right, the strategy is clear. We want to aim at building a Nordic oncology powerhouse focused on hard-to-treat and late-stage cancer. We have internally all the capabilities in place in order to reach that. I used to say that we have all the functions of a classical pharmaceutical companies. Yes, we are small, but still we have all in-house the functions that allow us to develop drugs, basically, internally. Of course, we are using also external suppliers, but it's important to have a decent level of capabilities in-house. This is the portfolio. So we have Apelia that will be launched in Europe during the next couple of months. In the US, this is in the hands of our partner. Our partner in the US is pursuing a registration strategy for ovarian cancer, and will be able to disclose at the right time some news about that. Contrexil intraperitoneal moving into phase 2. Docetaxel micellar in phase 1b, moving into potentially phase 2 in, let's say, 12 to 18 months from now. And we are working on Contrexil IV, so an intravenous formulation that is a better formulation than intraperitoneal. In ovarian cancer as well, we are working with our upgrading platform XR18 on this as well. Right, so Apelia has been approved in Europe in late-stage ovarian cancer. I don't want to go into the specifics of the compound, but you have all the characteristics here. The important piece is that this is the only solvent-free formulation of paclitaxel that is approved in Europe. There is none otherwise. And we know that Taxol does induce a number of side effects, such as neuropathy, other things as well, that are very inconvenient for the patients. So, I mean, we certainly have great expectations with regard to prescriptions for physicians with Inceptua launching the product this year. Right, so this is the map, you know, on Apelia on a worldwide scale. So you see Inceptua in Europe, you see in the US, this is in the hands of Eleva Therapeutics on the registration stage. Then we have Taiba, Middle East, and North Africa, and a global partnership agreement with Tanner Pharma. Clearly, if you look at the overarching sales potential of the drug, it is in the order of magnitude of $300 million on a worldwide scale. And obviously, as of today, we are operating in half of this market because the US is not yet approved. Right, first launches in UK and Germany before the end of June. This is a commitment from Inceptua, and other countries will follow as well. We are certainly very impressed with this private company. They are focused on hospital sales. They have about 100 employees on a global scale. Sales turnover is around 150 million euros. So they are very well equipped to launch our product in Europe. A few words about Contrexil. So when we licensed in this compound from this Australian biotech company, we had preliminary data, you know, with regard to the phase 1b, and those data were confirmed later on in June of last year. So that was a successful pick. We have a reasonable objective response rate of close to 20%, which is quite good in this very, very sick patients population. and an overall percentage of disease control above 50%. So we believe that there is a potential with Contrexil. Contrexil is a small molecule, and potentially could have some sensitization on stem cell. So that could eradicate the cancer potentially in ovarian cancer. Right, what are we doing now? We are working on preparing for the phase 2. We met, a number of key opinion leaders have met last year in order to prepare the launch, in order to give us some guidance on the clinical design, because it's extremely important to have a clinical strategy that has been approved by the regulatory bodies, and this is what we are working on. At the same time, we are working on the supply. And Contrexil is quite a difficult molecule to manufacture. We need not only one manufacturer, but several, actually 3. And we are working on securing the whole supply chain. So this year, we will be dedicated to focusing on the right clinical design and focusing on the right kind of supply chain for the product. That will be able to initiate the phase 2 in next year. Docetaxel micellar. So docetaxel is quite famous as a product in oncology. Is called Taxotere. So here we have potentially a better formulation than Taxotere called docetaxel micellar. The phase 1b has been initiated in Switzerland with a group called SAC. The enrollment is ongoing, and we do expect, actually SAC, the group, is expecting to enroll all patients in the study by the end of this year. And then what's next? Well, this is in castration-resistant prostate cancer patient. Potentially, we are working with our upgrading platform in order to see what we can do down the road with this compound, potentially moving into phase 2 if the data with the phase 1b is positive. So a lot going on. And here is the platform. So as I said earlier, the XR17 has been used, for quite some time. So at one point in time, you said to yourself, well, what can I do to upgrade the platform in order to initiate, some in vitro testing with new API in order to, down the road, generate new molecules with IP. As you know, it's extremely important to have in this business proper intellectual property. Otherwise, there is no business. And this is what we are working together with Karolinska Institute and other sources and other experts as well. And I will come back to that at one point with regard to a press release on our latest development. But we have to be very careful here because we don't want to disclose everything before for competitive reasons. Right, from a financial standpoint, so as you could see, we've been able to reduce very significantly our level of operating expenses over the last 2 years. We've been able to save around 100 million SEK for the company. We have a burn rate that is below, as of today, below the 10 million SEK per month, and which is quite an achievement. And we have total number of employees is still small, 20 employees, but it's enough, as a small pharmaceutical company to move our clinical development forward. Right, so we are in the middle of a right issue. The subscription period will end on the 22nd of March. We are raising about 150 million SEK, fully guaranteed, and this is also something that is quite an achievement. We have major guarantors that have guaranteed our right issue. Why do we do so? Well, fundamentally to pursue our operations, to finance our ongoing business activities and business development as well, to, of course, advance our pipeline, Contrexil, docetaxel micellar, and also some money will be dedicated to improving the platform, XR18, and testing the platform with new API. So this is why we are doing a right issue at the present time. The subscription price is at 1.68 Swedish kronor. And as I said, it's fully guaranteed, and we will be announcing the result at around the 25th of March. Right, so I want to summarize. This is, by the way, the last time that you see Oasmia in a public presentation. Next time it will be Vivesto. You, with Oasmia, let's say with Vivesto, you have the opportunity to be part of the build of a Nordic oncology powerhouse that is focused on hard-to-treat and late-stage cancer. We have all the capabilities in place in order to build this pipeline. We have somewhat the luxury to have one product approved that is being launched as of today. And this is quite a distinctive differentiation element compared to any other companies in the same sector. We have a very clear strategy. We want to build through a string of pearls. We want to add more. And why do we want to add more? Because we want to de-risk our portfolio. Because we know the attrition rate is fairly high in our sector. So the only way to do this is to build, add, and then we create value through the development of our pipeline, getting milestones, you know, and this is what we want to do. We don't want to be a cash flow positive company. That in oncology you cannot do, you know, given the scale of our operations. Multi-shots on goal, that means that we are not focusing on only one type of oncology product, but we're planning to address many. We have this platform, this technology platform called XR1718, our solubilization platform. That is certainly an asset that we want to develop further. So all in all, we believe that we are well positioned to go to the next step with Vivesto, meaning being able to attract institutions in Sweden and outside Sweden with our new name once we have ended our right issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, this name change. Oasmia is a company that has a history, and you're marking that you're opening a new chapter now.
Yes.
So we are going to focus on that new chapter.
Yes.
But before we do that, some history.
Yes.
You have a number of lawsuits that you settled recently. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and are they over now?
I probably cannot tell you a lot about that. What I can tell you is it's absolutely over. The company doesn't have any liability anymore. Okay? We are completely, it's a clean plate. Absolutely, yes.
And it costed you, if I read right, 25 million kronor.
Yeah, so that was what has happened. But again, you know, I don't think we should focus on this. We should focus on the future, you know.
Yes. Okay. But in order to understand this reasoning about new chapter and the name change, it's to mark that all that is past now.
Yes, you know, I mean, clearly when I joined the company 2 years ago, a turnaround has to happen. So that means we change, we improve the, we change the strategy of the company fundamentally. Then we build new teams at the board level and also the management team level. And then, you know, finally we were able to resolve the liability. But there is a new strategy. You know, before Oasmia was what? A kind of CDMO, biotech, no one knew exactly. Now we are, as we are an oncology-focused development stage company, and we want to have a Nordic powerhouse, to develop this powerhouse through a string of pearls strategy.
All right. Okay, so let's move on to those drug candidates that you have. Apelia is, I will make a Swedish translation. We are talking about ovarian cancer.
Yes.
And that is in Swedish äggstockscancer. So that you know. Both Apelia and Contrexil are about ovarian cancer, äggstockscancer. And Apelia is about to come to market in Europe, or
yes,
is it?
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Are you selling something?
Well, you know,
Yes.
soon. Yes.
Soon. When?
But I don't want to say that. I mean, it's important to. It's better to say that the product will be available for prescription. Okay, by physicians, and obviously, you know, because we have outsourced that, licensed out that part of our business to a partner, we will get royalties, you know, that are expected by year end. Yes.
Okay. But my question is, when do you get your first payment from Apelia?
It will be recorded, you know, in our basically quarterly report, you know. The company that is launching Inceptua in Europe is Inceptua, as I said earlier, and the target is before June. So there is a delay in terms of registering, you know, recording the royalties, but that will come, you know. But yes, end of this year for sure.
Okay, that is your next major milestone, right? That
yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. You know, and I want to again, you know, emphasize on that. You know, not so many companies have a product to launch in our sector. We do have it in Europe, so that's a further reason why you should invest in our company.
And so you have several more candidates. Are they chemically, are they entirely different, or are you working with a similar API?
No, we want to have a large spectrum. We don't want to limit ourselves to only a small molecule. But the platform itself is designed for small molecule. Okay, but certainly it is our strategy to be able to licensing in on antibody or more state-of-the-art technology compounds such as CAR-T, oncology virus. I mean, no, we are open because we want to de-risk the portfolio. We know that there are risks in oncology, of course. It's clear that if you have, we don't want to be a one-trick pony, you know, like some other companies are.
So you have this line of pearls, and Apelia is the first one, and then they will
well, Contrexil is the first one, yes.
Ah, yes. Okay, but then you had a kind of a timetable on the screen there, but when can we expect the next one?
Yes, obviously, you know, I would be happy to tell you what we are doing behind the scene, but I cannot. But we are extremely active on the market to do so. We have a good business development team that has been looking at that. I cannot disclose anything further, but clearly we are focusing on that. This is on my radar screen, absolutely.
And you are now doing this rights issue on about 150 million Swedish kronor.
Yes.
And do you think that those money will be sufficient until you have a cash flow?
Probably not.
I appreciate you are honest about it.
Yes, but the money will be sufficient for the next 18 to 24 months to be able to get to a number of milestones that will be, those milestones will be the materialization of us creating value. You see, so assuming, for instance, phase 1b positive, then there is, you know, value in a compound phase 1b positive, like docetaxel micellar. Catrixil phase 2b positive, there is a lot of value in such a compound. You see, so this is the way we want to build the business, creating value throughout the course of the clinical development of our compounds.
All right. You mentioned also that Apelia will be sold in Russia. Any comments on the Russian
yeah, obviously, I mean, this is on hold.
Situation?
You know, obviously, this is on hold. We have decided to put the submission to the regulatory authorities on hold until further notice.
Can you elaborate on the economical consequences?
There will be minimal. There will be minimal because obviously in Europe, you know, if you compare launching a product in major markets such as UK, Germany, France, Italy, you know, and a launch in Russia, there's no comparison. So it will be absolutely minimum on us.
All right. Is this orphan drug status you're working with?
Catrixil has an orphan drug status, correct, yes.
Okay. So and that means a little bit faster
yes, in the US
process.
Especially, yes, absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? How much faster?
The strategy consists at making sure that the FDA will recognize our strategy as much as valid as possible. But of course, no one can declare before that we will get some positive data. But if you have a good panel of experts like we have, if you have a good advice from the authority, well, you put every single chance in your pocket, you know, with you, you know. So basically, we are very optimistic on that.
All right. We have a question from a viewer that says, where do you see this company in 5 years?
In 5 years, I would see Vivesto as a Nordic oncology player, having a number of compounds in the pipeline, reaching different stages of milestones. Those compounds will be small molecule, will be antibody, will be oncology viruses, there will be a wide range of compounds, and we will be working on each of them, trying to create value, phase 1, phase 2, and then potentially divest. So this is where you make your money, in some crude words, or partnership, you know, with big pharma companies. So this is what we want to do.
Are you cash flow generating profitable company in 5 years?
That will be a promise that I cannot make, let's say. But of course, we will be working towards that. And again, you know, if you have in oncology a successful phase 2B, usually the value of this is close to $500 million US, you see. So that will certainly help.
All right. There's another question from a viewer. Can you mention any anchor investors in this rights issue? Or
yeah, well, the period is ongoing, you know, and we will communicate the result, you know, at the end of it. Yes.
Yes, but is there any?
I cannot comment on that.
You cannot mention any names.
No, not now. No.
Okay. And how do you find potential candidates to acquire?
Yeah, so believe it or not, you know, although we are a small company, we've been quite successful. We have a good team picking, you know, the right kind of opportunities around. We have not only a good team, but also we've been helped by an external boutique firm outside Sweden that is also extremely picky and give us some good advice. And then we have an advisory board to help us to do so as well. So there are several steps, you know. It's a very well-defined process. You know that I work in big pharma before, so I know exactly how it is in very big organization, but I have somewhat replicated this process at a smaller scale in a small organization. But otherwise, the process is exactly the same.
All right. I think our time is up, and I wish you very good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tack för